Hi guys, I'm back with another fashion video, and in this video I'm going to share tips on how to get the best deals on designers and on brands. I know it's been about a month since I put out a fashion video, but a month ago I had also asked on my Insta stories suggestions on what kinds of videos I should film, and the most requested one was how to find deals on designers and brands. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you've noticed that I do a lot of pickups slash clothing haul videos because I love to shop, and it's not like I have a shit ton of money or anything like that. I just find a great amount of deals on a lot of designer things. Here's a little video hack on how I find the deals on the things that I buy. For me, I like to buy both new designer and vintage designer or secondhand designer. I tend to buy a lot of my designer things on sale. I don't recall actually I take that back. I do buy full price sometimes, but I tend to never buy anything full price. I think the last thing I bought full price without no discounts, without no sale, was maybe my Prada derbies, I believe. I mean, that's the first thing that comes up in my head, only because those shoes are just probably never actually going to go on sale anytime soon, and so I just bit the bullet and paid full price. If you know the full price of that, it kind of hurt my heart a little bit, but I love those shoes to bits. But otherwise, I tend to buy everything at a discount or a lower price than it usually is. To buy things on sale, you don't have to always wait for a big holiday like Black Friday. I know a lot of people wait for only Black Friday, and I believe Black Friday is only one day a year or one weekend a year, but only once a year. But there's so many other sale periods that happen throughout the year and almost all the time. There's a couple of websites that I tend to buy through. I don't always buy directly from the designer or brand itself's website, but also buy on websites that are retailers. And I go through the retailers because sometimes they'll have a extra percentage off for whatever reason, for maybe if you were to sign up your first order, or they'll just have a random extra percent off that will help with the sale price. Or they'll already have a sale price on the item that is already lower than the price on the actual designer's website. Online retailers that I tend to shop a lot and check pretty much weekly. I have a really bad shopping habit, or just a habit of just checking things on websites, because there's always a sale going on throughout the whole year. Even if it's not a big blowout sale, there's always a sale on the website. I have my laptop of the bookmarks, but the websites that I tend to shop at the most is Ssense. I feel like everyone shops there, but the thing with Ssense is they don't have a sale yearly, but when their end of season sales come, I personally think it's one of the best sales. So definitely check them out in terms of end of year sales, because they're pretty good. And then I shop at Farfetch, HBX, OPMe, the Outnet, Matchesfashion, TheDoubleF, Italist, and Cettire. I looked it up because I thought it was French, but it's Australian, but they're also a retailer. But those are the main online retailers that I tend to shop at in terms of sales. I will leave a list of these websites in my description box, so if you don't remember anything I said, they're all written down below. Like I had mentioned, don't just wait for Black Friday sales, because sales happen throughout the whole year, and the major sales that you should definitely look out for are the end of season sales. So the end of season sales happen in January and February, which is the end of winter, and then in May and June, I believe, for summer. And I personally think the January sales are the best sales, because those are the sales that drop the most, because it's right after holiday and people tend to stop shopping after the holiday. When you're shopping at the sales, don't limit yourself to menswear or women's wear only, because first of all, fashion and clothing is, if it looks good on you, it doesn't matter what gender the item is for. If it looks good on you, then it looks good on you. So you shouldn't limit yourself to only menswear or only women's wear, because some brands will have it cheaper than the other gender per se. I have these Margiela sneakers, which are unisex sneakers, but I bought them in the men's section for a lot cheaper than they were in the women's section. They're already on sale, but they're way cheaper in the men's sales section than they are in the women's sales section. For whatever reason, I'm not sure, but if you know European sizes, it's a 40 is the same in men and a 40 is the same in women's, but the price is different, but it's the same shoe. So make sure to check in menswear and in women's wear when it comes to brands and designers that tend to be unisex. Another reason to check in both sections is that, for example, I bought this Jacquemus hat and it was cheaper in the men's section because, well, Jacquemus, typically when you think of it, you think of women's wear, and so in women's wear it's more expensive than it would be in the men's wear. I've gotten things cheaper in women's wear than it would be in men's wear. So if a designer is predominantly menswear or predominantly women's wear and things go on sale, the other gender that is not geared toward would be cheaper. So I've bought a good amount of a cold wall things from the women's wear section because it's predominantly a menswear brand. So I've gotten things on sale in women's wear when it's the same exact item in the menswear, but it's cheaper in women's. If you understand what I mean and where I'm going at with that. But the end conclusion is to check both sections. Another thing is, if you see, for instance, a bucket hat that you see on sale for Jacquemus, remember to check both sections. But after you check both sections, go into Google, copy and paste that title of the item and Google it, but put sale at the end. That way Google will bring up all the web searches of that one item and you can search for the cheapest retailer that sells it, and also will may or may not have an extra sale tacked onto it. Another great thing for shopping in these retailers is that sometimes have an additional 10, 15, 20% off the already sold price. So it's just nice to remember to look at the retailers as well as the actual domain of the designer or brand's website. So following the end of season sales, if you live in a major city, New York City, London, Paris, any of the major cities, there's definitely sample sales going on. So I would say Google into a website that has like a calendar of sample sales in your city. Also look for Instagram accounts that are based in certain cities for sample sales only, and those will help a ton as well. I know during COVID a lot of sample sales have gone from physical sample selling to online sample sales, which I wasn't aware that's a thing, but I think because of COVID it's started to be a thing. So definitely look those up and see online sample sales because those exist as well. As for vintage slash secondhand designer or brands, there's a few places that you can go to. Personally, when I shop secondhand or vintage, I like to go to Grailed or Poshmark. Sometimes I'll go to Vestiaire, which is a French brand, which by the way means wardrobe slash cloak closet, which makes sense because closet. And then there's places like The Real. I personally never found anything that I really liked on there, but I know that that is an option. My favorite app to use for secondhand would be Grailed because there's a lot of good finds on there, and I've found so many secondhand things from that app. As for Poshmark, I really like that as well because the thing with Poshmark, I feel like it's very underrated because everyone goes to Depop, and I'm not suggesting to go to Depop because I feel like Depop is more, I'm sure it has some fashion, I'm sure it has some designer and high-end brands, but it's mostly fast fashion and trendier pieces, which those people who use Depop tend to be the people who are in the know in terms of the trend, so the prices may be hiked a little higher. Like if you were to go to those secondhand thrift stores that aren't actually thrift stores but they're already curated for you, and you're like, why is this sweater 50 bucks when you could go to a Goodwill, charity shop, Red Cross, whatever, and you could find a sweater for $5. But yes, you can go to Depop if you'd like, but personally I don't shop at Depop for designer items. I like to go on Poshmark because it tends to be used by the older people. I guess older people. It tends to also be very older styles in terms of very outdated styles. Okay, so my Fendi baguette bag. The Fendi baguette bag seems to be very popular, but on the app I found it for only $75, and yes, it's authentic, but I found it for so cheap because the woman who was selling it thought that it was a very old style, and like back in her day it was the thing, but she had, I guess, an ideal image that this kind of bag was just not popular or cute anymore. But little did she know, it's very trending, and that's why I had gotten it at a lower price. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Poshmark is basically easy to get designer for cheaper because the people who are selling it just don't really have an idea of what's trending and what's not. So you can basically take that to your advantage and do what you will with that. Grailed, on the other hand, is different. Everything on Grailed tends to be trendy stuff, but you could also find some gems that aren't trendy. Whatever fits to your style, it's pretty good on there. And what I like about both apps is the authentication option, that if it's not real then you can report it and get your money back. So I think I covered all of my tips on how I personally buy designer items for cheap, and I really hope it helped you guys because a lot of you guys have asked on how to buy designers or brands for cheap and what kind of websites to shop at. So those are the places that I tend to shop at the most when it comes to designer items. And I feel like I'm not the best at explaining things, and my explanations just tend to go in a circle. So we'll see if the message comes across to you guys, and I hope it did. But if you guys like this video, and if you guys have any other suggestions or questions, leave in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!